announce. For the first time in over 25 years, it's time to introduce your Knoxville Smokies.
Go Smokies!
A big hello and welcome to everybody watching on the Covenant Health Park scoreboard. We welcome you into the Carolina Ale House here off of Kingston Pike with my good friend Connor Nelson. I'm Richie Giuliano. Philip and Daniel behind the dials today, our producers. We welcome you to this great venue here in West Knoxville at the Carolina Ale House as we begin another episode of our Smokies pregame shows brought to you by Pilot. Here at the Carolina Ale House, hospitality meets big-time sports bar energy at this place. It's the perfect spot to grab a burger, which I got, a cold brew, and settle in for some Smokies baseball and some Tennessee baseball this weekend. So this is going to be a fun one here at the Carolina Ale House. If you're watching on our YouTube channel, stop by. We're going to be giving away one of our die-cast cars that we gave away last night on racing night. And tonight, everybody amped up, and I know Connor is, for Princesses in the Park. So it should be a fun day here tonight, Connor.
Yeah, you know, I was really thinking you were more excited for Princesses in the Park, but I know so many young Smokies fans are going to have a great time watching the scoreboard, seeing what they have going on. We have a few Princesses in attendance tonight, so make sure you go and find them if you haven't already.
I want to show you this fantastic venue that we got. We got a couple of camera angles to show you. First, behind Connor is our pool room. They also have a punching bag and a couple of claw machines. And then in the bottom left quadrant of your screen, that's where all the action happens. That's the 360 bar here at the Carolina Ale House with a million TVs. And you can watch every Smokies baseball game here at the Carolina Ale House, which is right off of Kingston Pike. Let's get into our Pilot pregame show with Connor Nelson. I'm Richie Giuliano. We're going to start by recapping what this series has been thus far. We've played 3 games at Covenant Health Park. Right now, the Lookouts lead this series 2-1. But, Connor, every single game has been competitive. You go back to Tuesday, a grand slam by our very own B.J. Murray to take the lead and win the ball game. And then on Wednesday night, it was the Lookouts who came from behind, won the game in extra innings. And then last night, a tough loss despite Chris Kashmar setting a career high with 10 strikeouts. It's just been a tough offensive series for this team and hoping to rebound here tonight.
Yeah, 2 phenomenal individual performances from one Grant Kipp in Game 2 and then Chris Kashmar in Game 3, both of them setting their career high in strikeouts. And you love to see a starting rotation really kind of battle each other a little bit. Of course, there's competition with the other team. But when you're able to develop that chemistry, that confidence, when you guys are just trying to be better than one another in the starting rotation, you know that's a recipe for success. Grant Kipp, 10 strikeouts. Chris Kashmar following him up with 10 strikeouts. Now the offense is going to have to show up and fire a little bit of that competitiveness as well so the Smokies can pull this one out here in Game 4.
This is a crucial part of the season because we're narrowing down the first half of the Southern League campaign, and the first half winner in the Southern League gets home field advantage in the playoffs. And right now we're going to dive into our standings. Birmingham, 1.5 back with a win last night. They're in first place at 29-24. Chattanooga's 26-24. The Smokies, 4 games back of first place at 25-28. And then Rocket City at 20-32 as you look at the leaderboards in the north. And then in the south, Biloxi with the lead, 32-22. That's the best record in the Southern League this year. They're the Milwaukee Brewers affiliate. Montgomery, 7-3 in their last 10. They are 4 games ahead of 500 and 3 games back. Pensacola and Columbus trailing in the south in 3rd and 4th place, respectively. So these games are very valuable right now. The Smokies, 4 games back, not many left to play in the first half of the season. They got to start gaining ground starting tonight in Game 4.
Yeah, and the Rocket City Trash Pandas are really giving Chattanooga and Knoxville a chance to go ahead and decide their fate coming in late to the season. They've won 2 out of 3 so far while they're playing Birmingham this week, and it's the North versus the North in the series, and it's the South versus the South in the series. So the Southern League is really divided right now, and the Knoxville Smokies are going to have a chance to push themselves up into second and maybe even first place, depending on what happens with Rocket City and Birmingham. But here in this series against Chattanooga, they got to lay it on them here in the final weekend of this series.
We're here at the Carolina Ale House off of Kingston Pike. We're here every single Friday when the Smokies are home, so come out and check out some pilot pregame shows. We're always giving away something. Last time we gave out a 4-pack of tickets, and today we're giving away one of those camouflage die-cast cards that we gave out on racing night last night. So definitely a limited edition item, and we have 2 of them to give away tonight if you're watching us on the YouTube channel. All right, let's dive into tonight's action and a preview of Game 4 of this series. It's a former Volunteer on the hill for Chattanooga, so some mixed feelings for a lot of people sitting in the stands tonight at Covenant Health Park. Chase Burns, a first-round pick last year in the 2024 draft by the Cincinnati Reds, and a former Tennessee Volunteer and former Demon Deacon as well with the Wake Forest program. He's 5-1 with a 1.54 ERA. He's been lights out this year, and he's a rising prospect for sure.
Yeah, rising prospect, number 1 in the Reds organization and number 11 in all of minor league baseball. And you're watching the stuff here. The fastball is electric, up in the upper 90s, and he's got a few breaking balls that he pounds the zone with. That's the big thing in his game. So far on the season, he's just been elite at limiting the free passes. He's got less than 10 walks in over 40 innings so far in this season with 60-plus strikeouts. So the stuff is there for him, and you touched on it a little bit now. Knoxville might have a little bit of a mixed reaction to him because he's from Tennessee. His hometown, Hendersonville, just 3 hours away from the ballpark, originally from Naples, Italy. But the Smokies fans better give him a warm welcome here tonight. Warm in the right way, if you know what I mean.
He'll be opposed by Nick Dean. So these are 2 rookies going at it here tonight. Nick Dean made his Double-A debut last week in the start against Birmingham, and man, was he good. 6 scoreless innings for Nick Dean with 6 strikeouts. The right-hander who set the tone early last week out of Maryland. So another Maryland product coming to the Knoxville Smokies. We saw Matt Shaw last year in 2023 as well, and he's up in the big league. So another Maryland product for the Smokies. He'll look to shut down a lot of lefties in this lineup tonight.
Yeah, and that was one of the things. If you go back to his high school days, you can find some quotes from his high school coaches. They were saying this changeup, it just shuts down lefties. Maryland had the same exact advice from him. I mean, the changeup is going to be his best off-speed pitch. He's got a classic 4-pitch mix, fastball, changeup, slider, curveball. But when that changeup is on, he'll use it to righties. He'll use it to lefties. And he's dominant with it. One of my favorite tidbits about him is that actually his high school coach said he could have been a D1 hitter if he wanted to. He finished up his high school career with a batting average above 500. So you know he's getting in the mind of the hitters when he's out there on the mound, and he's able to keep them off balance. We talked to him after his debut start, and he said his game plan was just to keep hitters off balance, keep mixing it up. We're going to look for more of the same from Nick Dean here tonight.
The Smokies offensively trying to get something going after a tough shutout loss last night on Thursday night in front of a great crowd here tonight on Friday night. Princesses in the park night at the ballpark. And let's dive right into it in this lineup produced by Lance Reimel, the skipper. And our Mint Gaming Hall leadoff batter for the first time this year as a designated hitter is Brett Bateman. We always see him starting in center field, but he's going to get the DH role today. So we're going to switch things up.
Yeah, Bateman's going to look to set the tone against the fireballer Chase Burns and make Chase come to him. Because when Bateman is ahead in the count, he's batting .326, and he loves batting up there in that leadoff spot. The speed is the X factor when he's up at the top of the lineup. And Lance Reimel switching it up a little bit. Corey Joyce is going to be followed by Brett Bateman, and then it'll be Pedro Ramirez. So a little bit of a shuffle up with the top 3, but Brett Bateman still that consistent presence up in the leadoff spot. He's our Mint Gaming Hall leadoff batter of the game.
Now sliding down in the order for our Exterior Home Solutions cleanup batter, and once again, it is B.J. Murray. He's been the cleanup batter a lot in this series against the Chattanooga Lookouts, and this is why. Because he made the magic happen on Tuesday night. The go-ahead home run, and he's been Mr. Clutch here at Covenant Health Park. So if you're sitting in that Modelo watering hole tonight, you better watch out.
Yeah, Murray's set for some splashes as he's driven in 4 of the 5 total runs that the Smokies have scored here in the first 3 games against the Lookouts, and his 10 big flies have him tied for second on the Southern League leaderboard with Cooper Kinney of Montgomery and just 3 home runs behind Brock Wilkin of Biloxi. And B.J. Murray has been a consistent presence in there all year. We mentioned Corey Joyce is back. That means B.J.'s back down into the cleanup spot, and it seems like that's where he's able to come up clutch all the time.
That's your cleanup hitter tonight for the Knoxville Smokies. Now, the most important one of the night for those that are sitting in the stands, this is your Wendy's double stack batter of the game. This means if the batter hits a double tonight, all fans in attendance are going to go home with a coupon for a free double stack for any participating Wendy's in the Knoxville area. So the batter you want to cheer hard for tonight is going to be Jalen Palmer. So Palmer batting 6th tonight in right field, and he's your Wendy's double stack batter of the game.
One key thing to note about him too, Richie, is that we were in Chattanooga when we faced Chase Burns the first time, and Palmer actually got himself on the board with a solo home run. He hit a deep fly ball out to right center field that got out in a hurry. And we're going to be looking for more of the same from him tonight. He's back out into the outfield as Corey Joyce is back inserted into the infield. And Jalen Palmer going to look to keep that bat hot with the power speed threat out of him.
We're here at the Carolina Ale House for our Smokies pregame show every Friday at this location right off of Kingston Pike, just 20 minutes away from Covenant Health Park, as we gear up for game number 4 of this series between the Knoxville Smokies and the Chattanooga Lookouts. Tonight, Nick Dean making his second Double-A start against the former Volunteer and Chase Burns. With that, we're going to sign off here from the Carolina Ale House. Everybody watching at Covenant Health Park, enjoy the game tonight. Hopefully we'll see you twice this weekend in a long series against the Lookouts. For Connor Nelson and for Daniel and everybody else producing, we got to give love to Philip, who produced as well. Richie Giuliano signing off. We'll be back here at the Carolina Ale House off Kingston Pike. You're watching the Smokies pregame show, brought to you by Pilot here on the Smokies Baseball Network.
Fans, for the first time in over 25 years, it's time to introduce your Knoxville Smokies.
Go Smokies! Woo! Woo!